Shalom, Kohalo Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Bahashim Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. And shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity. The hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yahshua. I'm back with the WW3 Daily update. Shalom and salutations to you. We're going to start off with the definition of world war. Just read it right here. A war involving many large nations in all different parts of the world. The name is commonly given to the wars of 1914 through 18 and 1939 through 45, although only the second of these was truly global. Okay, well, this next one will be too. All right. And for the record, what we're going to do real quick is what this thing wouldn't do yesterday. Okay. We're going to go here. Okay. This is Revelation 8 and 3. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven saying with a loud voice, let's count them. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's 3 of them. To the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the 3 angels which are yet to sound. Speaking of the 3 world wars. Okay? Now, we go here. Dealing with the 5th trumpet. 1 woe is past. World War I. And behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. So, from the definition of world war, right? And then they try to dial it back a little right there, but we're not paying attention to that. Okay? What we pay attention to what the scripture says. What did the scripture say? That was World War I. Okay? And this describes it. Oh, it wasn't global. It was World War I. All right. Global, this still fits the description. A war involving many large nations in all different parts of the world. Very true to the definition. Then you try to dial it back. You know how the devil does. Anyway, move forward. Revelation. 1 woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more. It doesn't say 3. It says 2. More hereafter. We get up here to 11, and it speaks of the last one. The 2nd woe is past, and behold, the 3rd woe cometh quickly. And that's, pretty much it. Doesn't mention any more woes hereafter or coming quickly. Just this 3rd. Okay. So with that, I'm going to let old Nate speak and deliver the update. Now, here's the most important part. Canadian prepper 16 hours ago warning the whole system is going to implode. WW3 on 4 fronts. Let's read this again real quick before we let him speak. A war involving many large nations in all different parts of the world. Okay. Take it away, Nate.
Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here, back again with a daily dose of doom and gloom. Holy SHTF. World War III is about to simultaneously break out on 4 fronts, as we've been predicting for some time. We're talking about Taiwan, South China Sea. We're talking about South and North Korea. We're talking about the Iranian-Israeli Middle Eastern conflagration, as well as Eastern Europe.
Now, that's not the whole globe either, but it's still World War III. So don't let the devil distract you.
Flaring up at the exact same time, thanks to this one graph right here. Thank you, Lynette Zhang, for bringing this to my attention once again. I hope to have her on the channel soon. We're going to explain how this graph, the macroeconomic, relates to the geopolitical. You need to understand that these 3 graphs, United States military bases, the 4 wars going on right now, and this one graph of federal debt held by foreign and international investors, that is U.S. treasuries, U.S. dollars, how it all relates. We're going to talk about that and more today. Oh, Mad Vlad apparently to launch a preemptive strike in just a few weeks, according to the very esteemed, non-tabloid at all news agency called The Sun. Probably bullshit. But we're going to talk about what really is about to transpire. Now, this graph. So this is all the money, all the US dollars that are out there in circulation by foreign investors who aren't spending it, they're holding on to it. Because if they spent it, if they went and cashed in their chips, you're talking about hyperinflation, the likes of which the world has never possibly seen. It would make the Weimar Republic seem like a joke. Now, as we can see here in the 70s, barely had any foreign investors holding our debt. And we come up here to the 2000 dot-com bubble. I believe that these things denote recessionary periods. Okay, so we had the dot-com bubble and traded sideways a little bit, coming up to the great quantitative easing that happened. And sure enough, the amount of dollars in the system exploded. Modern monetary theory had its heyday. But now, lately, look at this. It's been trading sideways a little bit. That's kind of scary, isn't it? If you are the global financiers. And then, as you can see here, coming up through COVID, brief COVID fake recession there. And now, of course, we're in the real recession. Of course, we're never going to call it anything because we're living in the age of denial. They're going to deny. Understand this. They will deny until your hair is falling out and you're getting acute radiation sickness. They'll deny anything bad is going to happen. But look at this. Lynette talked about this. We got to talk about this. This is crazy. This is everything you need to know right here. It's all you need to know. Know this and then go to bed. Look at this peak. Q4 2021, we got 7.75 trillion approximately in money out there circulating. Okay? And there's just so many dots I could connect right now, but we're just going to try to keep it simple. Now, you can see that people are starting to divest in a rapid rate, in a way which is not really seen before in history. There has been some definite downturns, like here in 99, in 1 year, almost 25% of the foreign treasuries were returned. But right now, the concern, because of everything that's going on in the world, is that let's think about SPAC stock. Okay, imagine that the U.S. dollar is a SPAC stock, like a meme stock. Okay, if you get out at the top, your money is going to be worth the most. If you can turn this into some hard asset while it's at the top, you're going to be able to buy the most. If you wait until it drops, then guess what? It's not going to be able to buy as much. You can buy as much gold as you possibly can when it's at the top. As soon as countries start cashing in their chips, the money becomes more and more devalued. And that is not going to allow you to buy as much precious metals, hard assets, whatever the case might be. So we run the risk of this reaching a critical mass of sell-off where people just start divesting from the dollar. The question is, why would they divest from the dollar? Well, there's a good reason for that, guys. The reason why they're going to divest from the US dollar is because US military supremacy is waning around the world. That's what the Ukraine war is all about. That's what the war with China is all about. That's what the Middle Eastern conflict is all about, especially with the petrodollar being at stake. This is what the whole system is built around. It's all about the global financial system.
Get that? We'll let a little bit more play. He's going to go into how much debt China has, how much debt Japan has, and why they have to go to war behind it to try to maintain or prop up the petrodollar.
Understand that. This is why a paltry, relative to what they stand to lose, a paltry $100 billion thrown into this conflict, hell, $10 trillion thrown into this conflict, pales in comparison to the economic catastrophe that would result, well, for the Americans anyways, maybe not for the rest of the world, from the US dollar collapsing. If the US dollar collapses, you don't just stand to lose a trillion wasted on a pointless conflict. You stand to lose everything.
You stand to lose everything. Okay? He's going to break it down.
And the global financiers know this. This is why they're all trying to keep the whole thing afloat. And everybody is playing their part. Everybody has their hand in the cookie jar. Okay? You have China, who's holding a lot of US debt. And they have a vested interest in keeping the system stable. They have a vested interest, at least in the short term, of making sure that the US dollar stability remains so that this doesn't evaporate into thin air. Same thing with the Chinese. All the other NATO countries, everybody owns a little piece of the global American reserve currency pie. But China has
It's a lot here.
want to become.
All right, I'm going to let a little more play, then I'm going to get a precept at the end.
China has been buying gold. Many countries and central banks have started to divest, started selling these treasury bonds. And why could that be? Well, could it be because the US military supremacy is waning? Russia used to be just a gas station with nukes. That used to be the joke, right? They didn't have the technological or the mercantile economy in order to rival the West in many other respects. But they've demonstrated in this conventional war, and this is where it gets scary, because if you think about it, if the US can't get 31 Abrams tanks to Ukraine tomorrow, when they've produced like 8,000 of these things, if we can't get 31, a paltry 31 on $1 trillion a year budget, you're telling me they can't get 31 tanks to Ukraine? Do you realize how much trouble we would actually be in if that were true? Let's hope that there's another reason why they can't do it, because what that would mean is that Russia is about to steamroll through Eastern Europe if they so choose. We have a reading from one Dmitry Medvedev that we're going to talk about just a little bit. This is bedtime stories with the four horsemen of the apocalypse. But I got a lot of clips and stuff to share with you guys today. But guys, this is it. It all stems from the collapse of the US dollar and then trying to avoid that from happening.
We're going to stop it right there. We're only 8 minutes in, so if you want to watch the rest of this, and it's worth watching, he goes in. Canadian prepper, warning the whole system is going to implode, all right? So go back and watch that. We're going to get one precept on the way out, and it's going to be I bought yacht, okay? Abatit. Ladeth himself. Habakkuk 2 and 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb and say, who is all of these? Right? Oh, we're going to, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Abatit, abatyat, right? Debt. Will not your creditors suddenly arise and those who disturb you awaken? Then you will become their prey. What did he just say? Where's that little ball at? Where's that ball? There's your creditors right there. That's debt. Look at all this. Okay? Hey, they're going to want their money. Petrodollar is done. Why did America create an excuse to go in and decapitate Saddam Hussein? Because he threatened or was about to or started trading his oil in euros instead of a petrodollar. That's the kind of thing that starts wars. What do we see? War. Why? Because people are getting out of the petrodollar. It's over. It came to an end. All right, so let's go back to that Habakkuk. Let's see. What is that? Berean. Let's see what this says. Slovakia 6. It says, but soon their captives, Habakkuk 2 and 6, but soon their captives will taunt them. They will mock them, saying, what sorrow awaits you, thieves? Now you will get what you deserve. You've become rich by extortion, but how much longer can this go on? Suddenly your debtors will take action. They will turn on you and take all you have, while you stand trembling and helpless. Because you have plundered many nations, now all the survivors will plunder you. Saddam Hussein, Slovakia, Iraq. You've committed murder throughout the countryside and filled the towns with violence. It's pretty simple, right? Who's that talking about? Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and close. We hope that the elect were edified. You brothers and a few sisters, with that, shalom.